The silver world is sizzling, and we got a lot to talk about today. Gold sizzling also, but major stories developing over this weekend in the silver market. We're going to be on top of them. Number one, thank you for being here. Please subscribe to the channel, all that great stuff. I'll bug you more about that later. Unbelievable developments that we're experiencing together. Do you feel it? Right? We come down here in the basement, we talk about silver and gold, but guys, this is like no other time in history. We're going to talk about China. We're going to talk about the COMEX, the two big stories, right? Potential, massive, catastrophic events for the paper market, not for the physical market. We'll touch on that. Also, $300 silver. No, okay, I lied. I put that on the thumbnail. $300 silver. It was clickbait. I was clickbaiting you. It actually is $300 to $500 silver. And we're going to talk about how the China and COMEX situation could make that happen sooner as opposed to later. Potentially. I'm not the one saying it. I'll give you all the data. We'll get into that in a second. We also have massive news out of the company Tether. They're the ones that are accumulating more gold right now than anybody else outside of the world central banks. Guys, there is so much going on. Seriously, silver is sizzling. This is the special Saturday night live stream, Silver Sizzler edition. Let's dig right in. We got a lot to cover. Let's start here. Silver lease rates. We'll talk about this is a big deal. This is a huge deal. Okay, Karel Merks. That sounds like Karl Marx, but anyway, Karel Merks said, silver lease rate in London jumps to 6.1% for 1 month. Guys, that is super duper high. We're going to look at a chart here in a second that tells you everything about the recent crash. This was leverage and paper getting flushed out, not a collapse in physical demand. If supply were loose, professionals wouldn't be wouldn't be paying top dollar to borrow silver right now. So the lease rates are what they charge to borrow silver. And as you look on this chart, we're just going to look here for a second. I want to point something out to you. See this little number down here that looks like a Cheerio right where I circled? That is 0. Let me draw a line on here for you. As you can see, silver lease rates were basically 0 for the longest of time. It didn't really start to go up until here, December, as you can see, boop, then it skyrocketed. When was that? Anyway, back in September. And now then we went back down. Now we are going back up. That is a sign of major stress in the market. Backwardation is a sign of major stress in the market. Everywhere we look, we have, hopefully you saw the right screen there. Yeah, we have signs of major stress in the market. Okay, but wait, there's more, because now we're going to go to China, the big massive story. This guy Bian, who's short like 15 million ounces of silver. Okay, and it's getting more and more interesting. We have breaking news. We're going to talk about how that fits with what's going on in the COMEX and the silver Swami himself, who's telling us that we could have $300 to $500 silver within just a couple months. I won't ramble anymore. We're going to get straight to it. Let's go out here. The first post from Eric Yong, King Kong 9888, right? Super respected person in the precious metal sector. Chinese media in Hong Kong are already reporting that the Chinese tax authorities may start investigating Mr. Bian, the Chinese trader who naked shorted 450 metric tons of silver. That's nearly 15 million ounces. The Chinese tax authorities might invite him in for a talk. This is from Business Focus Hong Kong, and here's the article. I'm sure you can read that about as well as I can. Chinese writing is very pretty. I love it the way it looks, but I just can't make any sense out of it. And there's Mr. Bian right there. Oh, shoot. Oh, shoot. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. Susie's not here. I forgot to share the screen. There we go. I read it to you anyway. There's the pretty picture, Mr. Bian, and darn it, might have some tech issues today. We're super busy here in real life. We've got twin daughters that are keeping us crazy busy. Anyway, let's go on to the next thing. Let's talk about what the ramifications of this Could very well be. This comes from the silver trade. Short 130% of total silver on the exchange and frozen, because now the tax authority, they came out the exchange and said no more, stop. Okay, we could have a Volkswagen or nickel market style short squeeze. Is that what's next for silver? In red, with his massive naked short position now publicly exposed and frozen, the market itself is likely to inflict maximum pain on Bian short. So this guy is massively short silver. When you're short something, right, that means you sell it, right, with the intention, and it's required that at some point you have to cover your short. You have to buy it back. He's going to have to buy back 15 million ounces of silver, considering his naked silver short is 130% of the Shanghai Future Exchange entire silver inventory, and now frozen by Chinese regulators. A short squeeze of the likes of Volkswagen in 2008, when the price of Volkswagen stock like skyrocketed in like an hour, or nickel in 2022, could play out in the coming weeks. Chinese regulators stepped in yesterday and essentially froze Bian's position, suspending his ability to add to his shorts. Okay, his shorts are short and publicly exposing him. The size of his position. No dirty minds here. The revelation of Bian Xingding's naked short silver position appears to be a calculated move by regulators who likely facilitated the leak. So this guy's got shorts, he's got a position, and now he's leaking to Bloomberg through an anonymous source close to the exchange. Okay, this is crazy. And there's another article that you can see. Sorry, I forgot to share the screen earlier. The only thing I can read on that screen is $22. And maybe that's per gram. I don't know. Anyway, that's what's happening in China right now. Now, guys, think about this. Okay, we've got, we're just going to keep going because there's so much. This is a silver sizzler. I don't know. How do you feel about what's going on with silver right now? I know, like, obviously a week ago, we had the worst, otherworldly downdraft in the price of silver, something that statistically can't happen. It was an engineered smash in the silver price. And now a week later, I'm feeling really good about precious metals. I mean, really, really good. How are you feeling? Leave a comment in the comment section, but it's a big deal this week, this massive short position. Here's the good news. He already sold the silver. The only thing now, from a mechanic perspective, and there's a reason why that's so important, when you have a short position, that you need to buy the silver back. The only thing that he can do now is he's going to have to buy that silver back. And when that silver is not available, right? We know we got news from Germany. We got all kinds of stuff to talk about. That silver's not out there. That can set up something very interesting, a short squeeze in the silver market. Let's run out here quickly to get just a little more data from China. Then we'll switch gears. This one came from, we got to make sure we got the right tab. But again, silver trade. Oh, this is crazy. Nearly 20% of remaining silver was removed from the Shanghai vaults on Friday. Total Shanghai Futures Exchange silver inventory plunges to just 11.2 million ounces, 350 metric tons. Why is that important? Two reasons. Number one, remember, Mr. Bian has 450 million tons that he sold short. That's equal to about 15 million ounces, right? Which is a lot more than the 11.2 or 350 metric tons that remain in the Shanghai Future Exchange vaults. But there's another super interesting thing that we're going to look at. Let's go down here. These are the vaults. I'm going to underline it. Shanghai Futures Exchange vault. You can see the word vault right there. Here's the total, right? They just said 350 kilograms. Here's what it went down. 62. Okay, that's like what? I don't know, 20%? Like they said, guys, if this continues, right, at this rate, and there's no guarantee that it will, but it's just very interesting to point this out. this would be, the vault itself would be at 0 in 6 days. I'm not going to write days, okay? If the amount of silver being drained continues at that level. So very, very interesting development. Now let's go up here. Remember, we always want to look at this, the Shanghai Gold Exchange, okay, for the silver price, AG, right there on the Shanghai Gold Exchange, $81.51. Now, if we go out to, hold on here, see if I can do this without screwing us up. Okay, so we're at $78 on the LBMA in the spot market. You can see right here, right in the middle. Now let's go back because we're at 78. They're at 81. The price is getting closer and closer. Okay, two big things, two big reasons why we're gonna talk about why this is important. Number one, as we said 2 months ago, 3 months ago, China and India are taking over the pricing mechanism for silver. Okay, now when you look at the U.S. market, where everything is screwed up, we know what's going on in the COMEX. We're going to talk about that in a second. But there's also not a healthy situation in the U.S. markets where we're often in backwardation, which means the spot price, which is the Kitco LBMA price that we just looked at, has been higher than the futures price. That is a big sign of trouble and stress in the market. However, if we look at China, right, and then we go, so here's the Shanghai Gold Exchange, right, 81.51. If we go to their futures exchange, wrong one. Hold on here. Bear with me. Silver on the Shanghai Futures Exchange. Sorry. They are in a healthy state of contango. The futures price is $84 per ounce, while the spot price, which is the SGE, that's their spot market, which, by the way, coincidentally, they do something really funny over there. They actually trade the physical metals. Hold on here. Now we're on the right screen. Gosh, I am sorry, guys. Upstairs Susie is not here. I apologize. Okay, but here is the spot price right there, 81.51 on the Shanghai Gold Exchange, and there it is on the Shanghai Futures, 84. They are in a much healthier market. Man, I feel like a big dolt. I keep forgetting to share the right screens. I apologize. Again, my lovely assistant upstairs, Susie, is not here. We have kids and we got stuff going on all over the place, but the fact that the Chinese market is in a state of contango, which is healthy, shows how it's becoming more of a magnet. It's going to pull the price in the West, okay, on the COMEX and the LBMA. It's going to pull closer and closer. And we've already begun to see a narrowing of that price differentiation between China, which is still higher, right, insignificantly higher, and what the price of silver is in the West. Oh, and now I'm going to remember to share the right screen. My gosh, I apologize again. Let's get an update from the streets of China and see what's going on right now at the Hubei Chinese market. Okay, this is the Shenzhen Hubei gold market today at 5 p.m. And I think they're like, I don't know, 12 hours ahead of us. Nonetheless, here's a little video, and it says, well, here, it says right here, the gold market on Saturday, the place was packed with a crowd buying for the Chinese New Year, which is coming up. The prices that you see on that screen are higher because they include like the fee for jewelry and all that. So don't read too much into that. And I'm getting text. I bet Susie's texting me to tell me that I'm forgetting to share screens. Anyhow, here we go. This is what's going on in China at their market. Okay, I told you we had some updates from other places around the world. Next, we will go to, here's some good news. This is crazy, okay? And there's a reason why this is important. This came from Whale Insider. Just in, India imported, make sure we got you up, which we do, an estimated 225 million ounces of silver in 2025. I actually went out to the to the Google AI and asked them. They said they thought it was 230 million. The point here, take a deep breath and think about that. That's India importing silver. 225, even if it's 200 million ounces, which it's not, it's a lot more. Okay, that is 25%. That is 1 in 4 of all ounces of silver that are mined all over the world for the entire year. 1 in 4 of those ounces went to India alone. But wait, there's more, because remember, Indians love gold as well. They got more gold than anybody. But wait, there's more, because as we look out into the future, India's economy is growing at a faster clip than anywhere else in the world. We're gonna dip our little toes into the world of fundamentals together here, guys. I know, like we always want to look at the big picture in silver. There's a reason why that's so critical. India has 1.4 billion people. They love silver and gold. They imported 1 in 4 ounces of silver for the year, but I promised you a zinger, a cherry on top, and that is simply this. The Chinese economy is expanding at one of the fastest rates of any economy in the world. As a matter of fact, they estimate that within like the next 4 years, there's going to be 100 million. There's only 300 million people in the United States of America. I'm one of them. But there's only 300 million Americans, and there's 100 million Indian people who are going to move into the consumer class, meaning they're going to have extra disposable income. Indians already use silver as a savings account. Read about it. All the farmers out in the, that I think they farm rice. I'm not quite sure, but, and hats off, hardworking people, I'm sure. When they get their harvest, you know what they do with it? With the money? They don't hold rupees. No, they trade their rupees for silver. They already, right? And now the other big deal going on in India is that in April, the banks are going to allow people to use silver. Think about this, is huge. They're going to let people in India use silver as collateral for loans. They're monetizing silver. That's what I think. I mean, how can you describe it any other way? You can take your silver, right? Here's a beautiful 1 ounce piece of silver, or you can take your kilo bars or whatever to your bank and use them as collateral. These people are going to be a huge. And then like they're building solar panels. I mean, it's crazy what's going on. 1 in 4 ounces of silver that were dug out of the ground through toil and labor. That's we never talk about that, right? It's hard to get silver out of the ground. I talked to the CEOs. I've been to, have I been to a silver? I've never been to a silver mine. I've been to a gold mines, but I'm telling you, gold's hard too. Silver's hard. It's hard work. I've talked to these people. This is a big deal. I'm excited. I'm sorry. I'm going on and on. Before I go any further, I do want to say thank you. Channel sponsor First Mint. Talk about getting silver out of the ground. When you get silver from First Mint, it really is the freshest silver in town. Why? Because they're owned by First Majestic Silver, who mines the silver in Mexico, sends it to First Mint in Las Vegas, Nevada, United States of America, right, where it's transformed into world-class serious silver bullion products. And then where does it go? They don't ship it to the COMEX. They don't ship it to the LBMA. They ship it straight to you. They've prided themselves from their very beginning on being the freshest silver in town, from the mine to the mint to you. And as an extra bonus added feature, there's a discount code you can use, VIPRB, and it works. I've tested it. Check them out. First Mint is awesome. You guys give me great feedback. It's incredible. Thank you, First Mint, for sponsoring Ron's Basement. Now let's talk about the poor. This is getting very interesting with the COMEX. Those poor people at the COMEX. Don't we feel just so bad for the COMEX and what's going on there? Because it is getting very, very interesting. I am remembering to share the right screen, and let's go out here. Here's a great synopsis of what could be massive trouble ahead for the COMEX. I'll give you the reasons why here. Wrong one. Here we are. Oh, no. Hold on. Okay, here we are. Boom. Now we'll talk about the COMEX. We'll come back to Germany in 1 second. This is from our friend Mark, who gives a great synopsis of what's going on at the COMEX. There's a silver crunch. We got a silver sizzler. March of this year, guys, that is less than March. We will be in March in like 4 weeks, okay? Could break the system. COMEX data indicates in purple that the March delivery period starts on February 27th, so that's less than 3 weeks from today, faces an accelerating physical drain that could overwhelm available silver. I just got the highlights for you here. Now, let's just talk about 2025 briefly. There was a delivery explosion when total COMEX silver deliveries in 2025 hit 474 million ounces, more than double what we had in 2024. So the trend has been going up. January of 2026, last month, the warning shot, a normally quiet month, exploded to almost 50 million ounces delivered, up massively from prior years. Put all the dots together here, all right? February of 2026, the smoking gun. That's right now. We're February 7th. In just the first few days, nearly 19 million ounces were delivered, almost matching all of last February. So in the first few days, we've had as many deliveries as all of nearly 19 million ounces. Now, this is the big one coming up in orange. Open interest, okay, for March of 2026 futures contracts sits around 430 million ounces. And some reports show even higher exposure. If even 25%, okay, which is conservative, demands delivery, that's over 100 million ounces needed. If it's 50%, okay, that would be 215 million ounces. At 70%, we're talking about 300 million ounces. Last year's March was already stressed at 80 million. So last year in March was 80 million. But we're talking about a very conservative estimate this year at 25%. That would be 100 million. The inventory meltdown. So now we're talking about where are they going to get the silver from? It's called registered silver, okay? Registered silver deliverable dropped from 167 million ounces in October of last year to around 103 million right now. That's a 38% plunge in months, accelerating recently with about 785,000 ounces draining daily. By March start, okay, it could fall if it continues to be drained at that rate to only 85 million ounces, far short of potential demand. Because let's just recap this very quickly. If the silver continues to be drained from the COMEX registered inventory at the current rate, by the start of March, there will only be 85 million ounces in the inventory. And we're talking about demand if only 25% of the contracts want delivery of 100 million. If 50% want, we're talking about over 200 million. Okay, the math doesn't add up. Even matching last March's 80 million leaves little for May's rising open interest. The bottom line, a crisis is highly likely. Look, these things can change, guys. They could magically find some silver. You know how it goes, right? But the way it is right now, it is super. It's a silver sizzler because a crisis could happen at the end of February or March. Relentless physical demand is emptying the COMEX vaults faster than the system can cope because this is a physical-driven rally, potentially leading to a historic reckoning for silver. The paper empire of silver is crumbling. Get ready for the fireworks. So think about this within the context of, hold on here. Wow, guys, we got almost 2,000 people in the basement. We are growing, okay? Oh, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We're coming up on 80,000, and I don't know why 80,000 subscribers is really special to Upstairs Susie, my lovely wife, who's not here today, and myself. So thank you. It's a big deal. I hope you feel like you found a friend in the basement. You're always welcome to join me down here for these broadcasts. We love this, right? And a lot of great friendships are made in the community as well. Anyway, the COMEX, whoa. And then we're going to talk about $300 or $500 silver, all within the context of what we just talked about. But think about what's going on in China with the Chinese billionaire. The guy made $3 billion in the futures market betting that gold would go up over the last 2 years. Now, this explosion because he went short silver, the regulators are on him. Everybody knows about it. At some point, he's going to have to cover. That's China. Think about what's going on at the COMEX, right? There's potential that for when the March deliveries hit, that there's going to be some major fireworks potential, right, on the COMEX, the world of paper silver. All the while, we know, and I don't even have time to, I'll share it with you maybe tomorrow. I don't know, maybe we'll do a Super Bowl halftime live stream. But anyway, all over the world, guys, in Asia, in Europe, there's all this news coming out of Germany from the big German wholesale saying, we can't get silver. Okay, we know things are screwed up in the United States with the refiners. Put it all together, right? It's a very, very crazy, interesting time to be in the world of silver. We got news from the silver billionaire, and then we're going to talk about this $300 to $500 silver and why we think it can happen. And hold on here. I'm going to remember to share the screen without the lovely help of my wife, Susie. Okay, Dave Bateman, remember him? He's the silver billionaire, and gosh darn it, there's so many big stories. 5 months ago, this would be the biggest story of the live stream, but this is a huge story, and I'll tell you why. He put this out. He said, last Friday when silver was down 33%, my silver miners were down 11%. I sold half my silver miners, lowering my tax hit, and rolled the 170 million proceeds into PSLV. Do you know what PSLV is? That's the Sprott Physical Silver Trust. It's run by the Sprott Company out of Canada, and it is 100% backed by real silver. Everybody trusts Eric Sprott, and you can actually get delivery of your silver from this. He basically bought another $170 million worth of silver. But then, wait, there's more. Today, now he's selling his PSLV and buying 1,000 ounce bars, another almost 2 million ounces. Okay. If miners in silver rise to their mutual peaks, I'll gain 20% extra on the transaction, lower my tax bill. Okay, good for you, David. Then raise my silver ounce count to almost 15 million ounces. So the U.S. silver billionaire, and let's not forget, guys, we won't spend too much time on this, but we want to make sure we remember there's a David Bateman, that's the silver billionaire. He's not buying futures. He's buying real physical metal. Has 15 million ounces. Isn't it interesting? It's David, right? David Bateman, the U.S. silver physical. I call them the new Hunt brothers. David versus the paper Goliath in China. Mr. Bian, who shorted, right, 15 million paper ounces of silver. It really is a David versus Goliath story. Well, I know who I'm rooting for. I'm rooting for the guy who has the real physical metal. I'm telling you, Bateman's got to be careful. JD Vance is going to be knocking on his door saying, hey, we need to talk to you about that silver. We may need that for the strategic metals stockpile that we're now developing in the United States. That was the other huge story. I mean, everywhere. It's a silver sizzler, guys. It's happening everywhere. Next, we're going to hear about the $300 to $500 soon silver call in place. Is it still in play? Okay, by the Silver Swami himself, the guy who everybody has massive respect for. We're going to talk about that next. I do want to say thank you to First Mining Gold for sponsoring Ron's Basement. It's a stock I owned long before they sponsored my channel. Okay, I made videos about them 6 years ago. I love the company. They're a developer, a gold development stage company with 2 multi-million ounce projects in Canada, a great jurisdiction. Springpole in Ontario, Duparquet located in Quebec, both of which separately have millions of ounces of gold in the ground that the big mining companies, I think, are going to be clamoring for in the future, because the big mining companies are, number one, printing money. Number two, they need to refill their pipelines. And number three, they want to grow. Okay. Do your own research. I'm not a stock broker. I'm not a financial planner. Check it out for yourself. You can learn about the company at firstmininggold.com. $300 silver. Can we get 400? Did I hear $400 silver? $500 silver? Let's go see what the Silver Swami himself is saying. But most importantly, I'm going to repeat this for you. And there's a reason why this is critical. Think about the timing of $300 to $500 silver. I'm not saying it, okay? I would be very happily surprised. I don't know how you feel about it, but he's talking about this happening by like summertime, which for most of us in the United States of America, where it's been cold as heck lately, seems like a long time away, but it's not that far away. And think about, again, and I won't say it again, I promise, okay, but this is the Silver Sizzler tonight. Think about what's going on at the COMEX, like we just talked about, right? There might be some stress. Oh, wouldn't that be horrible if those people at the COMEX got stressed, right? At the COMEX, and we've got this short paper tiger, David versus Goliath, Mr. Bian situation. Think about if that transpires as it might, okay? Just speculating down here in the basement, and how that plays into the potential for skyrocketing silver prices. So Michael Oliver, I call him the Silver Swami as a big compliment, that's meant as a compliment, was on with Daniela Camboni, and she was grilling him. I'm just going to play a little bit of this about what is happening in the silver market, and I got to share the right tab, which I am. We're going to wait for that to pull up on your screen. You know what? We'll go back a little bit and see. We'll start about right here.
Back up late this week and into next week into the upper 80s again on silver. We were up to over 90 the other day. So you don't want to go back up there again. If you do, then it's over. You're going back up, okay? And I think that's about to happen. But again, I don't think it's an explosion back to the high. I could be surprised. I think it's more like an arm wrestling match to get back up there, and probably by March, then you're challenging the highs again. And which
okay, so he says by March we'll be challenging the highs. It's not going to be an overnight explosion. It's probably not going to happen Monday morning. Okay, it's going to be an arm wrestle. February is going to be interesting, but he's talking about us getting back to new highs by March. I won't interrupt Mr. Oliver again. Here you go.
Game on again. In other words, that would have been your midpoint jiggle. And I still think that the likely massive percent of any gain we're going to see, and again, I think it could be in the couple to several $100s on silver easily. I don't have a precise number. Will occur by early summer. So
you put that range between 300 to 500.
Yeah,
correct?
like 6 months. If you start in November and you count the months, you got
Right.
Jan, Feb, March, April, May, June. Okay, give or take a month. Okay, these same type of events, this explosive couple quarter surge, also occurred for silver back in 79 to 80 when it went to $50. In 5 months, you quadrupled silver in 5 months to get to 50. Again, that was within that old.
Okay, so he says, give or take a month or two. That's what he's saying we could see by summer. It's going to be super, super interesting, guys. Man, we got so much more to cover. I got to go quick. Let's have some fun. Let's look at what $100 would buy you in silver back. Oh, this is crazy. Back in 1970. There's a powerful message in this video. Hold on one second. I'm getting it up for you right now. And hold on here. Full screen. All right. And play.
In 1972, $100 would get you this, 50 ounces of silver. Today, for $100, we have to take away this 10-ounce bar, this 10-ounce bar, this 10-ounce bar, and this 10-ounce bar. Remove this 2-ounce bar, this 2-ounce bar, this 2-ounce bar, and this 2-ounce bar. Take away this 2-ounce bar and replace it with this 1-ounce round.
So, yeah. Do you think it's, hold on here. Do you think it's safe to say that silver maintains its value? I do. But guys, the basic fundamental, the reason why we remain so optimistic about silver is the simple fact, right, that the basics of supply and demand. There's more silver being demanded, being consumed every single year than is being supplied to the markets. It's almost been 10 years since the amount of silver coming out of the ground has been slowly going down, 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 down. And Phillips Baker, former CEO of Hecla Mining, recently was on record saying that he thought that it would be 2030, which is 4 years from now. Not like March when the COMEX is going to have big issues, but that it would be 2030 before the mining sector would be able to turn that dial up enough that they would actually start increasing silver production. I mean, it's just incredible what we are living through right now and what we're experiencing. And at the same time, you've got these situations in China, situations in India, right? India, guys, I'll say it one more time. India imported 1 out of every 4 ounces of silver that the mining sector was able to create during 2025. Think about that. And it's the end of the paper markets, very likely. You never know, though, right? Remember, they can be very, 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 very tricky. But it's not just silver. But what's incredible, and we're in a very, very good. There's a big reason why we're in a very good spot with silver and with gold as well. And it's very simply this. Yeah, they manipulated the price, and we'll focus on silver down for decades and decades, right? The COMEX and the LBMA, we looked at there's a memo that was leaked from 1974 where they basically said, we're going to create a futures market so we can make the price swings in silver and gold crazy so that the general public is scared of it and doesn't want to invest in it, right? We know that's been going on, but and we know that there were several judgments by courts of law, including, I think it's a $920 million fine that JP Morgan paid for manipulating the price of precious metals. But the important thing, the reason why we talk about that is that because of that, it discouraged investment in exploration and development for new metals deposits. So there's been, especially with silver over the last 20 years, very few people, only the visionaries. I had Jim McDonald on from Kootenai Silver the other day, right, who's been out exploring for silver. Sean Kuhn, Galen McNamara from Silver 47. These are just, look at what Keith Neumeyer has been doing with silver. These guys were visionaries. They were like us, if you've been around for a while, that were into the silver market when nobody else was around, right? Nobody else was around. And as a result now, right, the discoveries are going down. I'm going to show you some data that's crazy, okay? Nobody wanted silver. Oh, and I apologize to everyone because I've been getting a lot of emails complaining that I haven't done the sheep noise, but you know what it was like. Think back 5 years ago. If you're new, that's great. Congratulations. Your timing is awesome. But a lot of us I've been in the silver and gold for 20 years. Okay. We know what it's like to walk through the valley of doom, right? And there were very few of us walking together. I heard somebody once say that the people that were invested in trading junior gold and silver mining stocks, that you could fit all of us inside of a high school gymnasium. Okay. Our neighbors, who we like to affectionately refer to as the sheeple, right? They weren't with us. They laughed at us. They're not laughing now. When you look at the performance of silver and the performance of gold over the course of this year and the recent past, it's incredible. But the big point here is that there's not a new supply of the metals that's going to be coming onto the market. There's not a boom that's going to occur. And this is shocking to look at. This came from Tavi. Hold on here. Is this it? I got to find it. Yep, here it is. And this came from Tavi Costa. For the first time in recorded history, global data show 0 gold discoveries in 2 consecutive years. This has never occurred before, and this is not unique to gold. Major discoveries across most metals have fallen into the single digits, with no meaningful projects in pipeline capable of materially altering the global supply curve. That means nobody found a massive resource of gold or silver in the last number of years. This is the real barometer of where we are in the mining cycle. And look at this, guys. Just look at this. Okay. That's what he's talking about right there. Oh, hold on. Let's fix that. All right. Right there. 0, 0. I'm going to erase that so you can see it again. 0 major discoveries in 2 consecutive years. This has never happened before. Okay. That's the future supply. This is of gold. Okay. Major discoveries worldwide. I mean, look back, look at 2006. There were 22. Okay. Look at 1995. There were 28. Look now, there's 0, 0, 0. And that same chart will basically hold true for silver as well. I think we're sitting really, really pretty. I want to thank everybody who came in here and joined us tonight. Really awesome. I got some super chats. Susie's not here to help me. Old ODBG is here. Old Dirty Bastard Garage. He's an old school basement dweller. Thank you, ODBG. It's great to see you. I've always said he's got the best username on YouTube. Our friend Cold Steel 8869. Thank you so much for the super chat. Thank you. And Brian Wellsflock 1990. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Okay. Please, if you could subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 80,000. I don't know why, but to me, that seems like a really cool, big deal. But the real cool, big deal is when you decide to give your time to come down here in the basement. We are in for some wild, and I think wild, good times. I am as confident now about the future of gold, silver, and the precious metal mining stocks as I've ever been in my life. Okay. I feel like we've crossed the Rubicon. We've had a watershed moment. The weather pattern has changed. However we want to say it, guys, we're in for some good times. I look forward to sharing them with you. Okay. Have a great weekend. I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow or not, but take care, be good, and I'll see you. Yes, you. Thank you. I'll see you next time.